wanted to ask you all though, as bad as we were today, United, KJ, are learning to find ways to win on a regular basis now. How impressed are you with that?
It makes me confident for the future, because you need that going into your second year, your third year, and obviously the third year is stereotypically the year where everyone expects you to deliver. So if we're doing that now in our first year, it's 8 months into the process, picking up a trophy, hopefully another one, another two along the way, that's going to bode us well. And the players for a long time couldn't find ways to win. When they went behind, it was done. It was over. Like there's a little period under Ollie where we get comebacks, but in the biggest moments, in the moments that mattered, if
Especially
we had
cup
went
games.
behind, it ain't happening. You know what I mean? It wasn't happening. And today is another example of they just kept going. They just kept going. And we've got to remember, why did we get the red card in the first place? Why did we get the penalty in the first place? Because we cut them open. We created a chance, a clear goal scoring opportunity, which would have made it 1-1. So the mentality is still there. People are going to question the way that we're performing. Yes, we're not performing well, but no one can question the mentality, because I believed that we would have come back to get a goal, maybe. Not win. I think Fulham would have went through. But looking at the game and knowing what Man United are like, you wouldn't be surprised if we got a goal back. And we're literally about to go and get one. So the mentality is building. We got to keep going. Got to keep going. And ride his first season.
Facts. And you know what? The important thing in cup competitions isn't to play fantastically. It's to win the game and move on to the next round. The fact that we've done that in all of the cup competitions this season means that we're onto something. With how far we go, heck, we got Brighton, which looks like it should be a trip to the final. And then in the Carabao Cup, it
Don't say
looks
that.
like
Don't say that. Don't say that.
hell with that, bro. I'm saying it
Bro,
looks like
bro, this
we should
Brighton,
be
this
in the
Brighton team's
listen
mad.
listen to me, KJ. Listen, we should be in the final of that cup. Okay. Now, next, moving on
We
to the
should be 100%. Yes, we should be.
yeah,
Yes,
moving on to the Carabao Cup, we should be in at least the semi-final, if not the final of that as well.
Europa,
This that
Europa League.
Europa, sorry, yeah,
So,
that's
Yeah.
and this is at least a sign of progression, if not nothing more than that.
so
That's all.
if Man United go to the Brighton game and win, it's achieving what they have to do because you're Man United.
Yeah.
And if they lose on a small details, it's not a failure. It's acceptable. But if you go to that game and get that's what I keep saying about the Champions League for City as well. If you go to the Brighton game and get dominated for 90 minutes and don't play good football and you go out, I would say that's an opportunity missed. This is how you look at the games because you cannot control fine small details. It's not up to you. There are small details that you cannot control. And that's what Man United fans should look at this game. It's Brighton already as I think the team in form now in the Premier League, one of the best teams that play football. However, this is again, it's Manchester United, semi-final of the FA Cup. You should be going to the final. It is yours to lose. Brighton are still four positions behind you in the league. So you are on paper the team that should be favorites to go to the final. Again, it is something that Man United fans should look at this game and say, it's an opportunity for us to go to the final. It's an opportunity for us to win another trophy in a year that we were not supposed to win trophies. This is supposed to be a transition year. It's the same as Man City. People say Man City and transition, second in the league, quarterfinal in Champions League, and FA Cup semi-final. It's the same.
Yeah. So I agree. Listen, I agree. I get what KJ's saying. Again, there's a difference. We're going to the final, and
I know. I know. He said should. I'm making sure that everyone knows that DZ said should.
But they won't.
said.
This is the irony. If Man United fans say no, I don't think we're the favourites, everyone will say no. Of course you are. If you say you're the favourites, I say stop disrespecting Brighton. That's because people lack critical thinking, and people have got such dead banter. We should be in the final, but I wouldn't write Brighton off as I think everybody has said out there. In terms of Man United winning, learning to win even when you're not playing well is a very, very brilliant habit to have. The greatest teams of all time have that within their makeup. But what's impressed me the most since 2 weeks ago when Liverpool humbled us has been our response, generally speaking. And, to make it through to a quarters and a semi-final of other competitions, to not kind of collapse, the likes of Igal, I think your season could fall away from here. The fact that we've maintained ourselves and progressed in other competitions, I think is really, really impressive by Man United. There's a super chat here that says about Sancho, that says Sancho needs to have a bit more of that dog in him. We need him to be aggressive, unlike Anthony. The Mitro assault, the ref, he should be jailed, is what YUFC has got to say.
I want to ask you something. If you have another, before we move on to the next super chat, do you think they're gonna give him a lengthy ban, but also they're gonna be looking at what Bruno did, and they're gonna be a little bit lenient because they didn't give Bruno a lengthy ban?
I don't think they'll look at that, because otherwise Casemiro wouldn't have got a 4-game ban for his tackle when 2 other people last weekend committed very similar tackles. I think midweek in the Southampton game, there was another tackle where
Lavia
that does very, very similar. So I don't think that they tend. By the way, they should. They actually should. These guys did similar and didn't get away with it. 3-game only, but they don't tend to do that. The FA, they handle every situation as like an isolated incident, and sometimes they throw they throw the book at you, and other times you get away with it, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think he'll probably. It depends on what he said. If he's sworn at him and everything else, he may end up with he might end up with a 4-game, 5-game, something like that. But I don't think it will be. I mean, Di Canio, when he pushed the referee over, I think he got like 3 or 4 months. But that was so different because Sheffield Wednesday suspended him instantly. So a lot of Di Canio's ban was by him. People also don't realize when Cantona kicked the fan, he got an 8-month ban. 4 months of that was a ban issued by Man United. We banned him for half that time ourselves. You'd never get a club nowadays banning their own players for breaking rules. Yeah. The world's gone like that. But yeah, that's what happened. This here from Abs says, Abs here says, definite red cards. Rivals told us to stop complaining about Casemiro's reds. Well, then you do the same now. Fulham lost their heads. Hashtag cry rivals. Nabil here says, yes, the performance are shaky, but we have played more games compared to any other Premier League team. Players are human too, and not codes from FIFA need a break. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping we hear tonight. Rashford's pulled out with a slight niggle. Bruno's got a cold.
He looked injured when he walked off.
He looked injured, honestly. He's looked injured since the City game. Since he hurt, when he hurt he's looked a little bit off since then. He still scored lots of goals, but definitely looked off. This is true about the return, though. Casemiro and Eriksen to come back soon. Well, Eriksen should be back after the international break. So he should be in and around first-team contention. And that's one of the 3 games now that Casemiro is set to miss. But getting them 2 back, Dizzy, how important is that for Man United's running in the last stage of the season?
Bro, it's so important. Words couldn't explain how important it is, because somehow I think all the draws, we've got Southampton, we've got Leeds, they've kind of sucked us into that top 4 battle. And that was the last thing that United fans expected or wanted, to be honest. So having a midfield back that is our strongest midfield, hopefully Martial should be back in play somewhat of something that resembles a striker at least.
Yeah,
and then he just needs to look like a striker. Maybe not elite striker. He just has
to be able to turn on the spot really quickly. That's all I need from him.
Yeah, and then you got Varane coming back as well, who he's missed the last 2 games. He looks like he's been injured. So we're coming back. We should be coming back with what looks like our full strength team, and we really need it because we're going to need some big performances because we got some big games coming.
Yeah. There's no doubt. I think for me, I look at Eriksen as an example. There's been lots of games recently where we don't need him and Casemiro sitting. We could have literally, there could be games where we've needed Bruno on the right, where we could have had Eriksen in 10, as an example. Weghorst has done a good job. By a player of his standards, I think he's actually probably performed slightly above himself. But he's already been worked out by opponents. If you put pressure, if you press him hard and put pressure on him, his touch and his pass isn't good enough, and his turning ability, literally to turn, or his turn of pace, they're not good enough. So you close him down and pressure him. Done. He literally fades. And we need some more nimble, quick-minded players. But until we've got Casemiro back on a regular, Eriksen back in the team, and we got to keep Anthony fit. We need Garnacho back, and then hopefully what we'll start to see is less Weghorst from the start and more Weghorst that 20 minutes to go need a goal from up front, or bringing one into games that will lead
need a goal in Weghorst.
Yeah, but what I mean is, you can't.
I know what you're saying.
Sometimes you might want to throw the ball into the box and use his head. That's what I thought we were going to use him for a little. instead, we're having to use him as a 10 because everybody else is injured or out for the season. It's crazy.
He's laughing because
This brother
he
can't
moved his
head
head.
for
He can't
nothing.
even use his head. I don't know what he's there for.
What I mean is,
You're killing me.
he would be really good in games that were 2-0 up him, and you
Yep.
bring him on for the last 20 minutes, not to win you games, but to see games out. That is what
Yeah.
he'd be good for. Him with
Added
fresh
pressure,
legs
100%.
against tired legs, 20 minutes to go. He's the guy for that. No, you're absolutely right. Absolutely. There's a super chat here that says, I knew we were going to win because we don't lose at home. We simply don't. Look at the stats. Last time we lost was against Real Sociedad. But yeah, 190 days ago, the commentator said, I heard that, so I'm stealing that. But yeah, like it was brilliant from our point of view. It is brilliant that we're becoming a fortress at home. It really is.
Don't you guys think, KJ, I need to ask you something about Rashford. Go ahead, go ahead.
Quick fact, all of our wins in the FA Cup this season has been 3-1.
No way.
That's very strange.
All of them have been 3-1. Very nice.
Don't you think like moving Rashford to being a forward sometime, right side, left side, that hurts his form a little? I think if I'm a player, I want to make a position mine. I want to make this area mine because I'm getting used to Luke Shaw playing behind me. I'm getting used to the midfielder that is playing my side. And Vigo is playing 10, Bruno Fernandes right, like Rashford up top. If I'm a football player, I want to play in the same position every game.
No, I get what you're saying, and in the long term, it hinders us because, again, you're saying players aren't getting used to positions they should be in when they're playing. Always chopping and changing is not great for development in one position. But I would only be worried about that if next season we're doing the same again, because next season with new owners that are on the way should hopefully have some brand new midfielders, new strikers, a new fullback maybe. So you can then start to be like, right, Rashi, we've got the striker now, or two strikers now that can play that role. Don't worry about going up top anymore because we've got that covered. Bruno, you can stay in the 10 because you don't have to. We've got the midfielders now. You don't have to come back and forth and go out to the wing and stuff. So for this season, it just needed to happen. Injuries, suspensions, failure to secure the correct targets in January is reason why we're doing what we're doing now. So in the short term, it's not an issue. They're quality footballers. All footballers should be able to play more positions because hey, listen, you're the top 1% in the world of being able to play football. You're telling me that a striker can't play right wing for a game or two? Like, come on now, you know what I'm saying? Like, you need to be better than that. So short term, we're fine. Long term, coming into next season, if we're still doing that, then it's a big worry.
Yeah, no, I kind of something that Indiana said around being fluid, I think is key. I like the idea of where you can move and change and you're comfortable in those other positions. But equally, I look at Saka this year and how proficient he's become. He's learning that role so well. But in the build-up to Arsenal challenging for the league, look how many positions he's played under Arteta when there was holes to be filled. And that's why we haven't really spoke about him much today.